Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, izinkan saya Rina Febriana, moderator untuk speaker pertama, keynote utama kita yang pertama, yaitu Bapak Rudy M. Harahap. Before that, I will read the resume or profile of the first speaker. As you can see at the monitor, Mr. Rudy M. Harahap, aka MM, PhD, CGCAE, CRGP, Chief Regional Office of BPKP Kalimantan Selatan. Okay, thank you. Yes, big applause. Maybe all of them is curious about you, sir, so we will discover more. The contact details, address Jalan Jenderal Ahmad Yani, kilometer 32.5, Banjarbaru 70711. His email, rudymharahap@bpkp.go.id, phone 0511-478-1116, the office number. Wow, the education profile. Associate degree from State College of Accountancy Accounting in 1990. Maybe we're familiar with STAN. Yes, you know STAN, S-T-A-N. Yes, one of the exclusive and prestigious college in Indonesia. Bachelor degree, State College of Accountancy Accounting, 1996. Master degree, Bina Nusantara or BINUS University, Jakarta. Major in Information System, 1998. Master degree, Curtin University, Western Australia, Information System major, 2000. So we are same alumni, sir, but he is more senior than me. Postgraduate, Auckland University of Technology. Where is Auckland? In New Zealand, Selandia Baru ya Bapak Ibu. In 2018, Digital Transformation in Government, Innovating Public Policy and Service, Harvard Kennedy School, and 2020. Wow. As a lecturer, we should follow his track record until Harvard and Auckland. That's very good. The experience profile menjadi pusat informasi pengawasan in 2010, Sekretariat Utama, Pusat Penelitian dan Pengembangan Pengawasan di 2018, Deputi Bidang Pengawasan Instansi Pemerintah Bidang Politik, Hukum, Keamanan, Pembangunan Manusia dan Kebudayaan di 2019. Next, masih ada nih kayaknya. Perwakilan BPKP Provinsi Jambi 2019, Pusat Informasi Pengawasan, dan perwakilan BPKP Provinsi Kalimantan Selatan. Beliau adalah kepala perwakilannya in 2021 until now. Rudy M. Harahap, IKMM, PhD, CGCAA, CRGP, Chief Regional Office of Indonesian Government, Internal Audit Agency, or BPKP. But I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this all is just small version of profile, of huge experience of Mr. Rudy M. Harahap. Because, you know, from Jambi, all over Indonesia, I think he just know about the government policy, know about the competency of management, know about human resource, and also information technology. So complete competency. Jadi Bapak Ibu, jadi ini bukan kaleng-kaleng ya. Speaker yang pertama ini, beliau experience-nya luar biasa. Dan setelah beberapa kali saya have a conversation with him, he's very visionary leader, one of the visionary leader in South Kalimantan, and also in Indonesia, and maybe in international. I just read his blogs, jadi beliau ini penulis blog, buka aja tuh di internet. Jadi sangat aktif sekali ketika ada isu-isu apa, beliau pasti menyuarakan opininya. Baik itu point of view, from management point of view, economic point of view, and even maybe personalized point of view. Because ada satu topik about JNCO, internet di JCO gitu ya. So maybe we also have to be like him, be criticized not only in our house, not only in our home, not only in our institution, but just give more knowledge, more opinion, more point of view for others. So, ladies and gentlemen, Please big applause for Mr. Rudy M. Harahap. Welcoming to the stage, please, sir.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian. Karena ini ceritanya international seminar, so maybe we need to talk in English. And for some of you who can't speak English, maybe we need translator. Or maybe you can just learning from the visualization. I have asked my team to prefer a simple presentation using infographic. Yeah, so I believe it will be easy for you to understand my conversation today. So, Rina, I will talk about the challenge of local governance assessment models in Indonesia. So this is the title of my my personal perspective, learning from my experience as a government official and also as a personal, yeah. So I'm very concerned with how to improve governance in Indonesia through assessment or whatever we call it. Sometimes we call it evaluation, sometimes we call it audit, sometimes we call it review. But let's say the simple thing is assessment, penilaian. On this occasion, allow me to deliver the topic about the challenge of the local governance assessments model in Indonesia. As we know, when we talk about governance and also governance system, tata kelola, accountability is mostly considered as a collective obligation instead of individual obligation. Jadi ketika kita bicara governance, tata kelola, accountability adalah merupakan kewajiban kolektif daripada merupakan kewajiban individual.
Thus, we recognize the existence of governing board as a collective body to enhance and protect an enterprise governance as well as its risk management. Jadi di sana pentingnya adanya governing board, Dewan Governance. On the other hand, we consider responsibility when assessing a job position based on hierarchical levels. Jadi berbeda antara accountability dengan responsibility. Responsibility biasanya tampak dalam job position, which is usually attached to a management or executive team in enterprise. Jadi responsibility biasanya melekat nyata dalam tim manajemen atau tim eksekutif. Kalau di pemerintah daerah, kepala OPD. Therefore, it is important when assessing or measuring governance in enterprise, we have to identify first the collective and individual accountability of different parties and roles in an enterprise. Jadi penting sekali kita melihat ketika ingin melakukan penilaian atau assess, siapa pihak-pihak yang bertanggung jawab secara kolektif maupun individual di dalam suatu organisasi. Indeed, when assessing the structures and process of governance in enterprise, we need to identify first who should be accountable, which is different from who should be responsible. Furthermore, based on the three lines of model itu dari punyanya the Institute of Internal Auditor, governing body must be identified carefully. This should be considered in assessing governance of enterprise because the condition from one enterprise to another enterprise might be different. Jadi penting sekali kita mempertimbangkan governing body karena konteks atau kondisi antar satu entitas dengan entitas lainnya akan berbeda. For example, governing body in enterprise might be in a formal form that appears in the organizational structure or informal in the form of a steering team in various additional bodies in enterprise. Thus, when assessing the maturity and effectiveness of governance, we need to observe the degree of several steering teams of each ministry, institution, local government. These teams may play role as a governing body. Jadi governing body kadang-kadang dalam bentuk formal, bisa juga dalam bentuk informal. Antar organisasi akan berbeda. Now I want to talk about what currently we have for governing assessment models. Several governance assessment models have also been developed and implemented in Indonesia. Ini mungkin Bapak Ibu sangat populer, sangat mengenal. For example, there are audit opinions to the government financial statements, opini lapor keuangan, produced by Supreme Audit Board, BPK. And then we have internal control system assessment, SPIP, produced by Government Internal Audit Agency, my office, BPKP. And then management control for prevention, MCP, or integrity survey, SPI, produced by Anti-Corruption Commission, KPK. We have also governance assessment model of performance accountability system, SAKIP, change process management, reformasi birokrasi, RB, integrity and public service improvement, ZI, WBK, WBBM, and electronic government administrative system, SPBE, all of them produced by Ministry of Civil Service Empowerment and Bureaucratic Reform, Kementerian PAN dan RB. However, this governance assessment model have not clearly considers the different governance levels of local governance. More clearly, when we assess or measure governance in local government, this model fail to recognize the existence of different governance level of local government and local government organization. Jadi berbagai model ini belum mempertimbangkan atau gagal mempertimbangkan adanya level pemerintah daerah dan level organisasi pemerintah daerah. Local government versus local government organization. My argumentation is there are at least two government administration in Indonesia, namely, as we know, central government, SIGI, or pemerintah pusat, PP, and local governments, or pemerintah daerah. Jadi paling tidak ada dua pemerintahan sebenarnya di Indonesia, central government, pemerintah pusat, dengan pemerintah daerah. Atau ada tiga lagi, kalau kita mau tambahkan pemerintah desa. As a consequence, in fact, there are central government governance system, CGGS, sometimes called as national, kalau di luar negeri disebut sebagai national all federal governance system. And on the other side, we have local government governance system, LGGS, sometimes we call it as provincial governance system or district cities governance system. In the CGGS, central government governance system, actually two governance levels have been considered in existing governance assessment model. First, ministries or non-ministries organizational level and the President of the Republic Indonesia level, sometimes called as government. These two governance levels are interacted strongly to achieve national governance objectives, misalnya mencapai tujuan kesejahteraan nasional. These two governance levels will also produce two different accountability reports. For example, based on government financial regulation, there are at least two financial reports required. One, Ministry or Agency Financial Report (LKKL) and Central Government Financial Report atau LKPP. These two reports are audited by BPK and they produce audit opinion separately to LKKL and LKPP. In addition, LKPP is not a compilation or aggregation of LKKL. Thus, if there is a weakness in LKKL, it does not automatically affect the quality of LKPP. Jadi kalau LKKL-nya disclaimer, tidak otomatis LKPP-nya disclaimer. If we treat it consistently in the governance assessment of local government, two governance levels of LG should be considered, which are LGO, Local Government Organization, OPD, and LG atau pemerintah daerah level. Jadi ada level LGO dan level LG. It is because governance system exists at LGO and LG level. As a result, the existence of LGO financial report, LKOPD, should be considered as a financial accountability report of LGO, as well as the existing practice or availability of LG financial report, LKPD, as a financial accountability report of LGs. This idea is clear. LGs have their own independent or autonomous governance that regulates them. For example, they have governing body consisting of at least regional health, gubernur, wali kota, bupati, regional parliaments, DPRD, communication forum or of regional leaders, Forkompimda, and a variety of task force, satgas, or independent committee. Therefore, when assessing or measuring LG's governance, attention should be given to the existence of LGO and LG levels. Based on this challenge, as discussed previously, currently financial governance policies and regulation have recognized the existence of LGs as a state. In the planning regime also, the planning unit of LG seperti Bapeda also depend on the role played by its LGO. Jadi Bapeda sangat tergantung kepada juga OPD. Practically, the planning units largely serve as a planning coordinator or a second line role based on the 3 lines of model. To summarize, the financial governance has recognized the existence of LGs as a state, which is the same level as CG, central government. It can be seen from the practice of producing LKPD, which are at the same level of LKPD. Thus, there are audit opinion to LKPD which are independent from LKPP. However, the extant assessment model have not recognized the different level of LGs and LGOs. This may cause various governance assessment model in Indonesia fail to measure the real condition of LG's governance. Therefore, in the future, we should consider to expand radically these governance assessment models by acknowledging the existence of LG and LGO levels. For example, in the LG's financial governance, LKOPD should be produced together with PD, followed by auditor's opinion to LKOPD and LKPD. This practice will align with the practice at central government with the availability of LKKL, national government organization level, and LKPD at national government level, and also their audit opinions. Likewise, when assessing the maturity and effectiveness of SPBA and other assessment model in LGs, we need to assess the maturity and effectiveness at LG and LGO levels. It is because the SPBA LG score is not automatically the aggregation, sum, or average or SPBA LGO scores. The external governance assessment models may not well be accepted currently because the failure to recognize the independent governance system of LG. Thank you.
Okay, so I believe this topic, the challenge of local government governance assessment models, I think it's strongly related to the participants, sir, because the guest and the participant are from local government in particular, and also local government organization, and also like us, academy. And based on the academic and working experience of Mr. Rudy, so I believe this speaker has powerful opinion related to accounting, management, government policy, and IT, of course. Okay, so Bapak Ibu semua sudah mendengar tadi pemaparan dari speaker kita yang pertama, dan saya pikir ini sangat-sangat relate, sangat berhubungan dengan audiens yang ada di venue ini, karena beberapa adalah berasal dari SKPD, dari pemerintahan lokal, atau kalau di luar itu distrik atau state ya, bisa dinamakan seperti itu. Tapi kalau di kita, pemerintahan daerah, Pemkab, kabupaten, dan saat ini Pak Rudi sudah menjabarkan perbedaan antara accountability dan juga responsibility. Setelah itu, beliau juga memaparkan local government atau pemerintah daerah dengan pemerintah daerah atau SKPD mungkin ya Pak, secara komplitnya, itu ada perbedaan. Dan selama ini penilaiannya, asesmennya, correct me if I'm wrong sir, penilaiannya itu terpusat, hanya melihat dari pemerintah pusat atau lembaga atau kementerian pusat asesmennya. Sedangkan seharusnya di pemerintahan daerah itu, mereka juga sudah punya state sendiri. Mereka sudah punya bagian-bagian sendiri, seperti lembaga atau kementerian tadi. Sehingga akan lebih baik kalau asesmennya itu bisa diterapkan berbeda. Tidak hanya point of view dari pusat, tapi juga melihat apa sih yang terjadi di organizational area-nya yang ada di Pemkab. Mungkin seperti itu ya Pak ya. Jadi ini pure opini, point of view from Mr. Rudy. So, mari kita ambil kesempatan ini Bapak Ibu. Kalau misalkan dari Bapak Ibu ada semacam pemikiran yang berbeda, atau mungkin ada masalah, atau mungkin perlu problem solving, Kepala BPKP, bagian pengawasan langsung berada di sini, itu bisa kita saling diskusi. Tapi sebelum itu, ternyata sudah ada yang membooking pertanyaan Pak. Saya sudah ada nyebar sebenarnya flyer beliau dan juga materi. Jadi beberapa teman dosen juga ada yang ingin bertanya. So the first one is from Yulima Melsipa Lingga SPDM Hum. Wah, ada yang kenal nih. This is one of our lecturers, sir, dosen kami. So the question is, what is the impact of BPKP for vocational schools and college? Kira-kira apa ya efeknya, impactnya BPKP terhadap vocational education atau studentsnya? Mungkin itu dari point of view yang pertama dulu. Apa sih korelasi dan impactnya untuk kami yang ada di vocational? That's the first question. So silakan mungkin bisa langsung dijawab oleh Pak Rudi.
out of the topic, but it's okay. So BPKP is the president auditor. So we are different with the internal auditor of the local governments or ministerial internal auditor, inspectorate general. So our role is to make sure that the president objective or the national agenda achieve. Kita lebih ke yang sifatnya strategik ya di levelnya presiden nasional. So what is our impact to the vocational education or university or polytechnic? We did our job through assurance of the polytechnic development or vocational education development because they receive foreign loans or grants from overseas. So first, mostly the donors, foreign institution, ask BPKP, like World Bank, IDB, Asian Development Bank, International Development Bank, to assess or to assure that their spending, their budget or their fund are used efficiently and effectively. So that is in practical what we did. So it's mean we want to make sure that our role, we want to make sure that the institution organization who receive fund from overseas give benefit to the stakeholder, so they don't use it inefficiently or ineffectively. So that is the impact of us. So it's in more practical. So our role is to make sure that the program is really impactful or give benefit to the people of Indonesia. So that is the practical answer to the question. So that is our role mostly from regular audit or assurance activities. But we also receive assignment from the government, from the President of Indonesia, if there is a specific agenda from the President. Yeah, maybe for example we have now currently Kampus Merdeka, right? So we assess the success or the failure of the Kampus Merdeka, and then we give feedbacks to the high level, to the President, whether the program working well or whether there is whether the program needs improvement. That is the main impact of us, Bu Rina.
Thank you very much. But according to me, because I'm a lecturer and also representative of the students, one of the interesting words is donors foreign institution, grants for overseas. So we can get that, semacam ada beasiswa mungkin gitu ya Pak, dari donatur luar. Jadi sering-sering aja mungkin kita nanti pantengin BPKP, apakah ada slot itu, jadi bisa teman-teman dan student juga buat apply. Oke, thank you sir. Oke, mungkin sambil menunggu pertanyaan di belakang, sorry di online. Yes?
We have several people from central government.
Oh.
For example, we have Pak Bimantara. Pak Biman from the Ministry of Finance.
Pak Bimantara?
Yeah, he is my friend, one of the director in Ministry of Finance.
Okay, Pak Bimantara, how are you?
I just saw him.
Just join the link right now,
That's
sir.
Bimantara, right?
Oh, okay. HKPD Bimantara Wijayala ya? Yeah. Wijayala, mohon maaf. Bapak Bimantara, apa kabar?
Alhamdulillah, thanks God.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a double date.
Bisa kita sapa our guest from siapa?
I'm sorry, I'm a double date now.
Speaker from Zoom meeting, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Mungkin bisa dimaksimalkan juga. mic-nya, Pak.
Okay.
Bisa dibantu mic?
Hello, Pak Rudy. How are you,
Yes,
Pak?
fine.
It's great to see you, Pak, on the screen. You look great here,
Always.
always.
So, would you just say something or just give an opinion regarding the seminar, sir?
Well, I think it's very useful program, yeah, that we can have information in regard with the recent development on the education and training that I appreciate that colleague from Malaysia also share with us with the what so-called the TVET, yeah, the technical, vocational, educational, and training. That's very important because I recall when I was in Asian Development Bank, actually, I also attended the seminar that actually invited speaker from the Germany, from the Deutschland, that also share about the TVET program in more developed country. Yeah. And I think it's very important for us, yeah, also to see the recent development in other countries that can be used as a kind of a benchmark, the sound practice in the educational program. And I'm happy that Pak Rudy also joined this webinar, so we also can have insight from the perspective of the auditor, because sometimes the activities in this country relatively is quite slow compared the others country. I mean, if you look at from the perspective of the progress in the more high-tech education. So I think I really thank to the organizer, yeah, that already organized this webinar, so we can have a good discussion, I think. And I look forward to continuing this webinar, and I stand ready to have probably discussion on this forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Give applause to Mr.
Urina,
Hendrawan. Yes.
I forget to inform you that actually Pak Bimam itu is a person who is responsible to distribute fund to local government.
Oh, one of the key.
Pak Bimam tuh dari Dirjen Perimbangan Keuangan Negara, ya.
Semoga Tanah Laut di-mention nih, Pak.
Sure, Bro. Sure.
Iya, Pak.
Yes. Thank you, Pak Rudy.
Yes. Thank you for mention that, sir, because kami juga membangun, Pak, di Mantara di sini. Pemkab Tanah Laut terus-menerus membangun, dan mohon sekali banyak pendampingan-pendampingan seperti ini seharusnya, ya. So, one word, TVET, Asian Development Bank, it's a good choice, sir. And then I believe we can following this, we can follow up. Mudah-mudahan nanti bisa memberikan solusi lah buat kita bersama. Thank you very much, sir. Baiklah, terima kasih. Sepertinya di venue ini juga ada yang mau tanya, ya. Silahkan, please raise your hand. Karena tadi ada, oh yes please. Mbak, Ibu. Oh oke. Oh Ibu Nur Amelia dari Accounting Department, sir.
Pakai bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa. Dari teman Pemda, dari bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa.
Yes. Bapak-bapak dari SKPD silahkan. Bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa, Pak. Mumpung didengar, Pak, sama yang bagi-bagi uang itu di pusat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Playbacknya tolong dikecilin, playbacknya yang dari sini. Playbacknya.
Storing apa? Echonya mungkin kecilin dikit. Yes. Yes, please, silahkan Ibu.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity for me. Good morning, Pak Rudy. I'm Nur Amelia from Accounting Department. I have one question for you. It's about why LG and LGO should be different, and then maybe please explain what is the impact for the government. That's it. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. So, Amelia ya. Okay, so why we need to difference between pemerintah daerah dan organisasi pemerintah daerah, right? Amelia ya. Because in fact, when we compare it to central government, for example, we have the president system and also the kementerian lembaga system, right? So it's been for a government, we also need to differentiate between bupati system or governor system and others, and DPRD, and also the OPD system, right? So this the higher level, sometimes we call it the governing body. So this is the governing body system. And then the second one, the second level is the management system, right? So the OPD are the organization that implement or manage the idea or the policy from the governing body, from the governor, from the bupati, and then from the major, right? That is the main point. And what will be the benefit, right? That is your second question. We can measure fairly with the local situation, the local context. So currently when we provide, for example, audit opinion to pemerintah daerah, in fact, it is not really represent the condition of the local government and also the OPD, right? So that's why people ask, why when there is an organization or Pemda with unqualified opinion from the auditor, but there is still corruption, yeah? So, and also when we see, for example, from the SPIP perspective, from BPKP, for example, people also complain, why when one local government has SPIP level 3, the medium one or one of the best one, it is still corrupt. There is still a corruption in the local government. So that is the concern of the people. So maybe when we measure these two levels, we can differentiate between the score of the pemerintah daerah, the local government, and also the OPD. That is one of the benefit. So it's mean to improve the quality of the assessment system, so we can understand that the real number is really represent the real condition. That is the main idea. And then the second one is about to promote or to empower the OPD, right? Through delivering assessment for OPD, we can give directly what improvement is needed from the OPD side, not only from the Pemda side, right? For example, we can give recommendation for the section side or for the echelon 3 side, not only to the bupati or to the governor. Currently, recommendation only mostly ask the governor or the bupati or the major to follow up the recommendation of the assessment result. Not only about, not only about the audit opinion result, but also from the SPBE result, from the SPIP result, and even from the Zona Integritas result. So thank you.
Wow, just give an applause because the answer is so comprehensive. Okay, I think we still have the QU of the question. But before that, dari SKPD, dari dinas-dinas, silakan mungkin. Oh yes, please. Bapak yang memakai sesirangan biru. Tolong nama dan juga institusinya ya Bapak. Terima kasih.
Mohon izin buka. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thank you for the chance that give to us to ask you some question. I am Musli. I am a secretary on Bapeda. So there is maybe one question that I want to ask. As you described on your presentation, that there is so many models, government models that like SAKIP, RB, or SBIP, and others. Why there is so many models that we practice atau we give to local government? Because in days we have to serve the people. I mean, we have to give pelayanan prima to masyarakat, but we just give so many models that menambah kepada beban kami seperti itu. Is there any chance that state government, state government to mix them all, combine them, and then Pemda will just doing just one model. Jadi intinya kepada kawan-kawan yang barangkali kesulitan bahasa, supaya pertanyaan saya juga jelas ke arahnya mana. Pertanyaannya tadi itu Pak, intinya apakah beberapa model tadi, kalau tidak salah 8, itu tidak bisa disatukan oleh pemerintah pusat, sehingga kami yang di Pemda itu bisa juga lebih fokus melayani masyarakat seperti itu Pak. RB, SAKIP, segala macam itu bikin sebenarnya kesibukan tambahan Pak. Terima kasih.
Curhat sepertinya ya Pak ya. Maaf Pak Musli dari Bapeda Tanah Laut. Oh nggih. You can directly answer the question.
This is a common question from the common people, right? So it's not only about government organization or local government organization, right? So the complaint about why we need to measure or to assess with AIDS model, right? So when you work in the private sector, even maybe you will have about 15 or 20 models, right? For example, you have ISO, as you know, for example, ISO, we have ISO health, ISO safety, and then health environment. They have different standards, and then now they promoted. They are promoting ISO 3701 anti-bribery. So bribery. They also have ISO 31000 for risk management. So this is a challenging situation, right, for us. When we talk about model, in fact, the idea is to give or to guide us when managing organization. That is the main idea of developing the models. So, and then this model promoted by different discipline in the university. You can learn that, for example, audit opinion is promoted by the financial people, by the auditor. SPIP promoted by financial people, finance discipline, or accounting department. And when we talk about Zona Integritas, it is promoted by quality management people, quality discipline. When we talk about MCV, maybe it is promoted by legal discipline. So each discipline develop their own system, their own model, and then that is what we have in the organization. There are some idea to integrate the system. For example, in the ISO, they are still developing what we call it integrated management system. Yeah, in the UK they have integrated management system. They try to integrate health, safety, and environment, but it's so far until now it is not working well. So maybe because we use different model and also with different objective, with different values, with different benefit. So for example, it looks similar between SPP and MCP and Zona Integritas, but actually they have different perspective or different needs. So what we need to do so far, what we need to do to handle this issue, right? That is maybe the solution or how to solve your issue. So that is why we need to develop IT system, the application. So I think most of the system, most of the model now are supported with the application system, right? For example, SPP, we have application system for SPP. For Zona Integritas, I think they just develop it, right? For Zona Integritas, they also have application system. And for MCP, they have it has been supported by application system from the KPK. So yeah, we need to, I don't know, apa namanya kalau dalam bahasa Inggris, devil apa, the devil yang memang dibutuhkan. Apa bahasa Inggris? Rina masih kan? Apa? The devil yang memang kita kebutuhkan gitu loh. Pepatahnya ada. Jadi apa? Satu hal yang memang menjengkelkan, tetapi memang kita butuhkan, gitu loh. Itu dalam bahasa Inggris saya lupa itu, the need a devil gitu loh, the need devil gitu loh. Jadi apa? Oke, tadi cari di dalam literatur istilahnya itu ya. Oke, jadi kira-kira gitu Pak, terjawab ya. Ada lagi? Ya.
Okay, that's the answer. And I think because of the time, the limited time, we just open one last questions. Maybe from, can you just raise your hand? Miss Ika, I think. Oh, wait, sir. Can we just pass because dia sudah booking duluan dari tadi. After that, maybe we'll come to you. So, Ibu Ika ini is from Agriculture Department, sir. One of 4 lecturers from Politeknik Negeri Tanah Laut, lolos magang bersertifikat kalau Ibu Ika di Jerman for 1 month. And then her husband, Pak Ferry, juga magang bersertifikat di Amerika, Arizona University. And then Mr. Gali, magang di University Strathclyde, Glasgow, UK ya Pak? UK, same with me. So we are 4 of us, we're going to belajar lagi in overseas. Please, Bu Ika.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Rina. Saya jadi derdek jadinya karena disebutkan seperti itu. Good morning to afternoon, Mr. Rudy. I'm very glad to know and learn about the assessment that you talk to us that there are some assessment, some method in assessment, maybe more than 5. I forget in 8 or 9 assessment. But could you please give us the explanation about the assessment based risk? Assessment based risk, because in our assessment in accreditation and external accreditation, risk-based assessment, yes, this is the same. Could you please give us explanation about this? And then what instrument that we need to do this assessment, because especially me, I don't know about this assessment. Thank you, Mr. Rudy, and thank you, Ms. Rima.
Oke, dalam bahasa Indonesia ini jadi susah diterjemahkan ya, sering salah. Sometimes there is a difficulties when we translate between English to Indonesia and then Indonesia to English. Jadi kacau gitu kan. Nah, be careful when we talk about risk. Sometimes what we mean risk assessment, we call it risk-based assessment. But I understand that Wika ya. Ika asked about risk-based assessment, not risk assessment. Ya kan, Ika? Bukan risk assessment kan?
As I read before, if I not forget or if I'm not mistaken, assessment-based risk.
Ya, assessment risk. Jadi risk-based assessment.
Yes.
Penilaian berbasis risiko.
Yeah.
Don't be confused with the risk assessment. It is a different thing. Because when we talk about risk, now we have also risk-based services. Contohnya layanan di OSS berbasis risiko. Layanan penanaman modal berbasis risiko di BKPM. Itu mereka mempromosikan layanan berbasis risiko, ya. Jadi risk-based assessment atau risk-based services. Nah, when we talk about risk-based assessment, it means we assess the condition based on the risk. When we talk about risk-based services, we serve the customer, the applicant, through or based on the risk we have. So for example, in the open OSS, when the permission or the permit, when a permit has a high risk, and then there will be a different mechanism or process to handle this permit compared to the low risk permit. Jadi kalau izinnya high risk, maka prosesnya akan berbeda dengan yang sifatnya low risk. Ini sebenarnya sudah lama diterapkan di custom operation Bea Cukai. Jadi kalau di Bea Cukai biasanya kalau barangnya merah, itu treatmentnya akan beda dengan barangnya yang zonanya hijau. So when we talk about risk-based assessment, it is similar with risk-based services. So it means we assess based on the risk of the condition of the organization, whether it is in the high risk situation or in the low risk situation, and then we will observe or measure what is the mitigation of the organization to the risk. That is what we call it risk-based assessment. So we focus on the high risk condition or high risk organization, high risk division, high risk program. So why we need, I want to talk about the philosophy or the background. Why we did risk-based analysis? We call it in general in the literature, risk-based analysis. Jadi analisis yang berbasis risiko. We did risk-based analysis because we don't have a lot of money to manage all of the system. So that is why we need risk-based approach or risk-based analysis. Oke, Bu?
Oke, so we have to, kita harus nentuin dulu, kayak gitu kan. Risk apa?
Yes, that's right. Yep. And then see the you need to focus the high risk. And then what will be needed to improve or to minimize the risk.
Okay, so I think the solution is Miss Ika. We have to invite him, invite Mr. Rudy to be a guest lecturer in Politala one day. Okay?
Invite
Thank you.
Pian.
Yeah, invite
I
Pian.
think Pian is more or Osidin.
Yeah.
I think
Kata
I think in
gantinya
Banjar in Banjar we have more egalitarian term.
Yes.
So
Polite term.
you have when Rina said him
It's too
itu
rude.
dia kagok gitu kan. Tapi kalau Pian enggak. Padahal kalau him dengan Pian sama kan.
Iya,
Oke.
tapi kalau di Banjar ya seperti itu, Pak. Oke. I think the next one, Pak Sihab. Mikrofonnya, please. Aduh, ini.
Terakhir Lulu kali ya. Lulu tadi penasaran juga kayaknya mau ngangkat tadi ya. Oke, Lulu kali terakhir ya.
Oke.
Terima kasih. Saya kira mungkin yang di tanah laut pasti kenal kita, insya Allah. Tapi saya katakan bahwa saya adalah salah satu dari Dewan Penyantun dan Dewan Pendiri. Di sebelah kanan saya ada senior kita yaitu Pak Haji Adriansyah. Saya kira bisa ya. Kenapa? Karena I think it's very important to information that why we sit here, because this based on our dedication, some of Tanah Laut people, and this is because collaboration with BPKP too, from 2015, we the first time to build this building for lecture. Okay, when we start the first time establish the Politala, I have when the formally audit or review, when we don't know very exactly what is the exactly auditor, because last time we have just a private state here, private institution, not like now it's the government. My question is, why is every reviewer or auditor is different to make opinion about what the conclusion to make opinion about one invention case, example, about a case about financial to spare buy something capital or the activity for the institution like Politala. From the first time until now, I think we have always to face something. Might be we have problem about from Jakarta, Irjen, But of course we, alhamdulillah, always do before we start to run activity, to run build or establish the building, we always do consult for your staff and BPKP. So we minimize to face the problem, the different opinion about how to conclusion the result in the last time every year. I think it was question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sihab. Mr. Sihab and Mr. Adriansyah are the founding father of Politeknik Negeri Tanah Laut. Please, sir. Different auditor, different opinions. Why?
So it is not only about we call it not the auditor, but different perspective of the assessor, right? I think it's as auditor is one of the assessor. Auditing is one of the assessment method, right? So, for example, when we in the internal auditor we call it the 3 lines of model. Maybe one day I will share this picture. Maybe in the one Bu Ruth ada diagramnya Ruth?
Di belakang.
Ruth.
Three-line
So
model.
3 lines of model. I think it's easy for you to understand my answer. Why we have different perspective or different opinion to the same system or the same thing, ya. Ada 3 lines of model. So because when we talk about assessment can be done not only by the auditor. Actually, when we talk about assessment, it should be done by the first assessor. This is the nice concept from the Institute of Internal Auditor. In the organization, even in the military, they have this system. In the police organization, military organization, education organization, they have it. We educate Hankam, TNI about this model. So in the organization we have first line, second line, line 3, and also guided by the governing body. So actually, the first assessor is not the internal auditor, but the second line, right? So they call it, this is the people or the organization or satgas who give expertise, support, monitoring, and challenge the risk-related matters. The people who running the organization, what we call it the first management team, like for example OPD, organisasi pemerintah daerah, they provide services, provide product, and also manage the risk. So these people, this second line, should give assessment first. That's why in SPP we have penilaian mandiri, self-assessment. Kalau di SPP ada namanya penilaian mandiri, self-assessment. And then it will be assured by the internal auditor of the local organization, local government organization, inspektorat. Line ketiga, kalau di Politeknik ada SPI, ya, SPI. And then it will be assured by the external institution, or we call it the external assurance providers, Kemdagri, PAN, BPKP, BPK, Ombudsman, and even APH. APH also doing assessment. So you can see that from this diagram, because they have different line, and then of course they have different perspective. Right? So the way they seeing the condition, the system will be different. And also, there is also a difference with the time perspective.
Okay, true. But this is from the same from BPK. Jadi ceritanya sama-sama dari BPK, tahun ke berikutnya beda, Pak. Jadi dulu tahun pertama kami diminta untuk membuat OPT. Asalnya yayasan. Tahun ketiga kami disuruh lagi di auditor yang dari BPK juga, wah ini yang betul adalah yayasan. Jadi ya oke. Different with local government dengan kami, ini sekarang kalau kami ini sama, SPI dan sampai ke Erjen di Jakarta, no problem, never different. Tetapi dulu, the same ya. Jadi kesulitan local government itu adalah sebelum melaksanakan tidak pernah direview. Kalau sekarang kami mengajukan saja sudah direview.
Yeah.
Nah ini kehebatan dari kementerian itu. Jadi menjalankan Januari sudah bisa run tanggal 2. Tapi kalau local government buru-buru, kalau dulu kalau tidak ujian nasional baru keluar pencairan. Saya kira gini.
Okay, and then I will talk about the second one. The second one, right? There will be a difference because the time lag, right? And also about the content, the way they do the audit. For example, when we do investigative audit will be different with the financial audit. So the way to audit, the methods, and also the time lag. For example, now we have different perspective or different opinion to ITB, Sekolah Manajemen ITB, right? In the past, the external auditor never concerned with the current issue, and then they learn later, and maybe there is a new regulation about that, and then they raise the issue. So that is maybe the main reason why auditor or assessor have different opinion or perspective to specific content. So that is ya orang bilang katanya kita berubah kan. So people always berubah. So there is also a change in the standard, a change in the waktu. Jadi bagi generasi berikutnya akan semakin susah, akan semakin berat untuk nanti dia diassessnya gitu, ya. Oke?
Hey, thank you very much. A long answer. So, is there any time for Lulu's questions?
Yang di
Or
belakang
maybe
dulu apa yang di
another
belakang
one?
dulu nih? Masih ada nggak waktu?
5 more minutes, yeah? Just a quick question. Please, Bulia. This is the head of konstruksi jalan dan jembatan. Head of Department Sipil.
Jurusannya ya, konstruksi
Yes.
jurusan
Rekayasa konstruksi jalan dan jembatan.
konstruksi jalan dan jembatan.
Yes, lagi banyak job Pak dari Polda ini.
Berarti
Pemeriksaan.
harusnya di Kalsel nggak boleh ada jalan rusak lagi, jembatan
Nah.
rusak. Bareskrim itu sangat komplain itu. Kenapa di Kalsel jalannya rusak semua kan gitu kan? Oke, Bu.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Marlia Adriana from Bridge and Road Engineering Construction. I would like to ask you one question, maybe about audit, construction audit. Okay, we have experience being asked to audit several construction cases. We were asked to accompany the prosecutor or kejaksaan and the police from Polda. What we want to ask in the audit, what is our limit from academic institutions to construction cases? Artinya batasan apa kami kebetulan diminta sebagai tim pendamping Polda dan Kejaksaan, Bapak, sehingga tidak melangkahi mungkin kewenangan kami dari tim pendamping konstruksi, audit konstruksi. Seperti itu mungkin Bapak, dengan mungkin BPKP selaku pemeriksa anggaran konstruksi. Demikian, terima kasih.
Supaya tidak overlap ya. Jadi seperti itu. Bu Marlia Adriana. Marlia.
So Bu Marliana,
Iya, sir. Marlia.
Bu Marlia. In corruption case, usually the prosecutor or investigator will ask auditors to assess the financial loss. Even now they develop the economic loss. But to quantify how much is the financial loss, sometimes the auditor needs the perspective of the engineer. So that's why the prosecutor or the investigator will ask you to give your opinion about the construction project. So you can ask whether, for example, what we call there is a failure of the gagal bangunan, ya kan? Bukan gagal konstruksi. In fact, the regulation is not gagal konstruksi. The right term is gagal bangunan. Yeah. So and then if you say it is because the gagal bangunan, because the people who involved didn't work well, they didn't do their jobs, yeah, and then you conclude, you call it gagal bangunan, and then we will calculate how much the financial loss to the government. So that is the difference between your job and the auditor job. So the prosecutor or investigator will ask your technical expertise or technical opinion, not the financial opinion. Technical opinion, right?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I think that's enough. Okay, tuh si ibu di belakang sudah kasih tanda. The time is up. So, Miss Lulu, maybe you can ask Sidin privately, okay, at the backstage. Okay, please allow me to summarize the seminar today. The first one is accountable is different with responsible. The financial governance has recognized the existence of local governments as a state, which is at the same level of central government. The last one, governance assessment models should acknowledge the existence of local governments and local governments organizational levels. So before that, please give us some closing statements, sir, just 1 or 2 words before I close the seminar.
Okay, I think for closing statement, I want to say thank you to Ibu Mufirda and also Pak Syabudin for inviting me to this seminar. I hope that Polytechnic Tanah Lot will be bigger, yeah, will be one of the unggulan, one of the best university in Indonesia, not only in the South Kalimantan. Good luck for all of you.
Thank you very much. Okay, tapi sebelumnya satu lagi. Before sebelumnya, Ibu Director kan sudah berpantun dengan bahasa. And then please allow me berpantun in English. Just one bite of pantun. A bird is always flying. It looks for a great reward. Who is diligently studying? In the future, he will be smart, hopefully. Bapak Ibu,
He will be smart and wise.
and wise,
Smart
wow.
is not enough.
Just like you maybe, sir. Okay, baiklah, that's all for first presentation today. Still have 3 more presentation with really interesting topics. So please stay tuned in the online or in the offline as well. Saya Rina Febriana, mohonkan maaf apabila banyak kesalahan kata atau yang tidak berkenan. Terima kasih Pak Rudi Harahap sudah bersedia datang ke sini, Ibu Direktur dan seluruh undangan. Salah hilaf mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.